Hello Nidorinas and Nidorinos, and welcome to Cinnabar Island, where the Cinnabar Flare are hosting the Rustboro Rockies. Kabutops and Aerodactyl are starting out for the Rockies, whereas the Flare are going to start out with Flareon and Charizard. All these Pokemon are originating in the Kanto region, and surprisingly, the two fossil Pokemon, Aerodactyl and Kabutops, are renowned for being restored on the Cinnabar Island. Aerodactyl being the fastest Pokemon on the field is going to start out with a power split, but as always, let us know in the comments below who you think is going to win as well. Cinnabar Flare or the Rustboro Rockies. Charizard looking to respond. And it goes with a Sleep Powder. And it goes straight for Kabutops. This is actually a really good start for the currently undefeated Cinnabar Flare. They've won all 4 of their battles so far in the Elite Challenge League. They're going to want to look to continue this against the Rockies, who have only won 50% of their games so far, so they have a 2-2 record, and we get a synthesis from Flareon, whose HP is already full. As always, 6-on-6 Metronome battle. If we hit the 20-minute time, then we will go into single battle overtime. Get an Avalanche now coming from Aerodactyl, and it goes for Flareon. It's not going to be very effective on the fire typing. Charizard looking to take advantage of its 109 special attack, goes with a Mud Shot. Goes for Kabutops. Decent damage, super effective on the rock water type. Kabutops' speed will be lowered. Flareon now with that 130 base attack. It only goes for the Screech. Kabutops still being fast asleep. It needs to take advantage of that 115 base attack, 105 base defense. Aerodactyl, obviously the fastest Pokemon on the field, having 130 base speed, so it's going to be the fastest Pokemon in this entire battle regardless. Goes with a Venoshock. Targeting Charizard. Decent attack, does not leave Charizard poison though. Charizard goes, doesn't affect Aerodactyl. But we get an Iron Tail now coming from Flareon. This should be super effective and unbelievable. It's a one-hit wonder on Aerodactyl by Flareon. Very impressive, taking out the only Pokemon awake on the side of the field for the Rustboro Rockies, so Kabutops does not wake up. Unbelievable strike on Aerodactyl though. I cannot believe Flareon just did that. And Almaldo coming out now for the Rustboro Rockies, having that 125 attack. Very physical team are the Rustboro Rockies. 110.4 base average for their attack. Get a Power Trick now coming from Charizard. So it's going to switch its attack and defense. Not much being changed. 84 for its attack, 78 for its defense. Flareon now going to go with a Tackle. That's not going to be very effective on Almaldo though. Kabutops finally wakes up. It needs to get off a water type move and get that stab advantage. Instead goes with a Fire Lash, so this isn't going to be very effective on the fire typings. Almaldo going to be slowest on the field with only a 45 base speed. But it's going to go with a Cross Poison. Another poison type move being done to Charizard. Good hit, and it leaves Charizard poisoned, so Charizard is on a ticking clock. It's not going to be able to survive in this battle for much longer. Already being taken down into the red by that poison. You have to think it's not even going to get through the next turn. As I was saying, of the physical typings of the Rustboro Rockies, not only do they have the impressive attack, they've also got 108.5 in their defense as an average for their 10-team roster. Charizard shrouds its team with that magical coat. Get a Shadow Sneak now, coming from Flareon. Going for Almaldo. Not doing a great deal of damage, still standing quite strong. Kabutops is going to go with a Magic Room. So this will only prevent the Leopard Berries from being used in the battle. Almaldo going to go with a Sunny Day. If anyone can take advantage of this and uses something as like a solar beam, this could do some very harsh damage, especially if the Cinnabar Flare take advantage of it. But that's the Solar Flare typing up hidden ability of Charizard did not help it there, and then that poison finished it off. So Charizard has been eliminated that. We now have Arcanine, who's been unbelievably impressive for the Cinnabar Flare, been in every battle so far, and only having one bad showing. Usually being in the top 3 Pokemon otherwise. Arcanine now. He's got to go with a Retaliate. Going for Almaldo. Taking it down into the yellow. Not very effective. So it's the #1 ranked Pokemon on all the Cinnabar Flare. And now we're actually going to see a Solar Beam, so Flareon, it's only going to take one turn to hit this move. And if it goes for, say, Kabutops, it should finish it off. It could even finish off Armaldo. Very impressive, and it does. Armaldo has been eliminated by Flareon. So Flareon has eliminated the first two Pokemon from the Rustboro Rockies. Very impressive hits. Going to get a low sweep now from Kabutops. This should lower the speed of Flareon, and also takes it down into the yellow. Fourth Pokemon now is going to come out for the Rustboro Rockies. And it's Gigalith. Gigalith is another physical Pokemon. 135 base attack, 130 base speed. Sorry, not speed, defense. And that Sandstream is going to kick up a Sandstorm and get rid of the sunny day. So now it's going to benefit the Rustboro Rockies as the weather is. Arcanine's going to be quickest on the field with that 95 base speed. It's going to go with a Sweet Scent and not take advantage of its 110 attack. Will lower the evasiveness, though, of the opposing team. Kabutops, after having lowered the speed of Flareon, now has the ability to move quicker than it goes with an Ancient Power. This should be super effective. And it'll finish Flareon off. Flareon has been eliminated by Kabutops after making a very impressive statement early on in this battle. Gigalith now is going to go with a Flower Shield, but it does fail. Arcanine takes damage from the Sandstorm. We now have Rapidash, Cantonian form, coming out for the Cinnabar Flare. All actually Cantonian forms for the Cinnabar Flare coming out so far. Rapidash is now going to be the fastest Pokemon on the field with that 100 base speed. It's also got 100 base... Oh, I apologize, 105 base speed. It's also got that 100 base attack. It hits Gigalith twice. Hits it 3 times. It's super effective. Only getting 3 though. Doesn't even take Gigalith down below its 50% mark. We get a Liquidation now coming from Arcanine. Now this could be super effective. Instead it goes for Kabutops, so it's not going to be as effective as it would have been on Gigalith. Get a Syrian Shot now coming from Kabutops. This won't be very effective on the Fire types. Barely doing any damage to any Pokemon on the field whatsoever. Not being very effective against any of them. Get a Will-O-Wisp now coming from Gigalith, but it doesn't affect Rapidash. The Cinnabar Flare continue to take damage from that Sandstorm. Rustboro Rockies currently tied for 8th, so they desperately need this win to keep their position in the top 8. Rapidash is going to go with a Brave Bird. It's going to get that recoil damage. But it could finish off Kabutops, and it does. Kabutops has been eliminated from this battle after lasting a little under 8 minutes. Very impressive showing by Kabutops. Arcanine's going to go with Agility and boost that speed stat, so you should see it move first on the next turn. Gigalith now. If it can hit something like an Earthquake and do damage to both opposing Pokemon, instead goes with a Headbutt. Decent damage to Arcanine, taking it below its 50% into the yellow. Magic Room finally wearing off, so Pokemon will be able to eat those Leopard Berries again. Now we have our 5th Pokemon coming out for the Rustboro Rockies, and it's Tyranitar, the pseudo-legendary, ranked number 1 for the Rustboro Rockies. Has that 134 base attack, so it has the potential to finish off opposing Pokemon very quickly. Get a double team now coming from Arcanine, so it continues to boost its stats, this time boosting its evasiveness. Rapidash. It's going to go with a Toxic. It's going to leave somebody poisoned. And it targets Gigalith, so Gigalith is going to be taking damage from that poison in between turns. Tyranitar now. It's going to go with a Dual Chop. So it's going to hit the opposing team twice. Goes for Rapidash, takes it down into the yellow, and the second one, critical hit, almost eliminates Rapidash, but you got to think that Sandstorm should finish the job, unless Gigalith does it right now. Gigalith goes with a Slack Off though, so it's just going to restore its HP, which is actually of great benefit to Gigalith, as it's going to continue to take damage from that poison. And there's that Sandstorm hitting Arcanine. It's going to hit Rapidash, and it will. Rapidash has been eliminated after taking that Dual Chop, followed by the Sandstorm damage. And there's that poison still doing damage to Gigalith. 5th Pokemon now, and it's Ninetales. Another Cantonian Pokemon coming out for Cinnabar Flare. And we see the drought now, so that sunny day has come back, taking over the Sandstorm. Ninetales coming in with that 100 base speed and 100 special defense. See a Night Daze now coming from Arcanine. It's not going to do a great deal of damage to Tyranitar though. However, it will lower Tyranitar's accuracy. Sludge now coming from Ninetales. Gigalith continuing to take damage from the poison type moves, even though they're not very effective. And a Thunderfang now coming from Tyranitar. This could leave an opposing Pokemon paralyzed, and goes for Ninetales. Critical hit. And it does. Ninetales is now paralyzed, so it could suffer from that in the coming turns. Could potentially be the slowest Pokemon on the field. Petal Dance now coming from Gigalith. Goes for Arcanine. It's not going to be very effective, but it will take it down into the red. And there's that poison continuing to do damage to Gigalith. As always, in the description below, we do have a link to our Google Doc containing the ladder, fixture stats, and team rosters. Arcanine's still the fastest Pokemon on the field. It's going to go with a Heal Pulse, but it's going to target the opposing team. Targets Tyranitar, so this is actually going to benefit the Rustboro Rockies. Tyranitar going back to full HP. Tyranitar is going to go with an Octolock now. It's going to target Ninetales. So Ninetales is now can no longer escape, and it suffers from that paralysis, so it's not even going to get a hit off. And there's that Petal Dance continuing to do damage, this time targeting Ninetales. Not very effective, but keeping it in the yellow. Gigalith now getting more poison damage, also taking it down into the yellow. Ninetales' defense and special defense will also fall. Arcanine needs to take advantage of that 110 attack, even the 100 special attack. It's going to go with a Safeguard though, which would have benefited Ninetales if it hadn't already been paralyzed. Get a Force Swipe now. All Shiny Hunters should be rather familiar with this move, and it goes for Arcanine, so that's not going to finish it off. But Arcanine will not want to be taking any hits. Ninetales now goes with a Dragon Rush. And it targets Gigalith. Gigalith responds with the Petal Dance, which will take Ninetales down in the red. So both Ninetales and Arcanine down the red, and now Gigalith is going to suffer from confusion and that poison. That poison almost finished it off. So this will be Gigalith's last turn, surely. Gigalith, Ninetales, and Arcanine all being in the red, whereas Tyranitar still has its full health after that Heal Pulse. Get a Bind now coming from Arcanine, which will finish Gigalith off. So Arcanine gets the elimination point. Gigalith has been eliminated, so we're now down to the last two Pokemon for the Rustboro Rockies. There's still 3 remaining for the Cinnabar Flare. Get a Forest's Curse, but Arcanine avoids the attack. Ninetales and Arcanine could easily be finished off with any move. A Force Palm is going to go for Tyranitar. It's going to be super effective and instantly takes it down into its yellow and leaves it paralyzed. So Ninetales, after being paralyzed by Tyranitar, has now paralyzed Tyranitar in return. Last Pokemon now comes out for the Rustboro Rockies, and it's Lord Omastar. So the Water Rock typing is going to look to take advantage of its actual rock, either rock or water typing, both being super effective on the Cinnabar Flare. Omastar has that 125 base defense and 115 special attack. Goes with a Shell Sidearm, but Arcanine avoids the attack. Ninetales goes with a Screech, so it's only going to lower the stats of the opposing team. Going for Omastar and lowering that defense stat. Tyranitar suffers from the paralysis, so it's not going to be able to land any moves in this turn. Cinnabar Flare are just maintaining control at the moment, but that could change in a heartbeat with those low HPs. Rustboro Rockies desperately want that win and want to hand Cinnabar Flare their first loss of the season. Get a Happy Hour now from Arcanine, so Arcanine again does not go with an offensive move, which it desperately needs to do. Omastar's going to have that 4 times weakness to grass type moves. Goes with a Power Up Punch. This will finish off whoever it attacks, and goes for Arcanine. So it finishes Arcanine off and boosts its attack stat in the process. Arcanine has been eliminated. Ninetales now. It's going to go with a Mega Horn. It's going to target Tyranitar. Very big hit, and Tyranitar has been eliminated with that super effective move. Very impressive by Ninetales to take out the pseudo legendary like that. And Magmortar is the last Pokemon now coming onto the field for the Cinnabar Flare. Magmortar's got all its stats, and it's the second highest ranked Pokemon on the Cinnabar Flare, having that 125 special attack. Goes with a Mega Kick, so instantly goes on the offensive. Good hit onto Omastar, even though it's not very effective. Omastar with an opportunity to respond. Goes with a Fire Pledge. It's not going to be very effective, but you have to think, and it does go for Ninetales, and it does finish it off. Ninetales has been eliminated. We are down to our last two Pokemon of the battle. Magmortar is definitely going to want to hit hard. It has the advantage. It's already taken some of Omastar's HP. Here we go. And it's going to go with a Shadow Ball, so it's continuing the offensive, and it goes with a special attack. Again, taking advantage of that 125. Omastar being taken down in the yellow, almost gets into the red. This is brilliant by Magmortar. Omastar goes with an Astonish. Don't see this doing a great deal of damage, and it doesn't. Magmortar's still standing very strong. This is very good for the Cinnabar Flare. Magmortar goes again. And it goes with a Memento. Oh my god, Magmortar has just thrown the game for the Cinnabar Flare. This will give the Cinnabar Flare their first loss, as Magmortar's HP, it goes to 0, and it only lowers Omastar's stats. It didn't even go with an offensive move to finish itself off. It just gave up the battle, and the Rustboro Rockies have brought the Cinnabar Flare's 4-game winning streak to a very sad end. Although you have to think Magmortar did it to its own team. It had all the advantage. It was chipping away brilliantly at Omastar, and then it just went with that Memento. That's horrible. I can't believe that's how the 4-game win streak came to an end. But Cinnabar Flare don't make it 5-0. They're now 4-1. They're going to want to definitely avenge this loss when they go to Goldenrod City next week to take on the Giants. That is a very sad way for them to lose that game. Whereas the Rustboro Rockies get the win that they desperately wanted, and they're going to want to continue this when next week they take on the Saffron Psychics in Rustboro City. Unbelievable. The weather changing from sunny to sandy to sunny. Brilliant. Flareon, as seen earlier, taking advantage with that Solar Beam. Tyranitar doing very well. Gigalith even surviving, soloing with that Toxic. Omastar coming onto the field. So instantly the Rockies didn't even have the advantage at Magmortar. I still cannot believe it. Taking itself out of this battle and giving the Cinnabar Flare their first loss of the season. Well done by Omastar to hold on. It's many followers, I'm sure, will be very happy, but that Memento is very disappointing. I cannot believe Magmortar would do that. But Nidorinos, thank you so much for watching. Let us know in the comments below who you thought was best on field and why it wasn't Magmortar. And always remember, you are awesome. And I will speak to you guys next time. Bye.